Welcome inside our LA NBA studio with Paul Pierce and Michael Wilbon. I'm Michelle Beadle. Wizards up 59-45 at the half, but let's take a look at what else is going on around the league. Dirk returning to the Garden for the last time.
And a great ovation for one of the game's all-time greats, Dirk Nowitzki.
Where was Dirk in that game another last time where he didn't score at all? What building was that?
That was Boston.
Oh, and they kept cheering for him because they really wanted him. Okay, really do.
Tough.
Really, we're really doing this. Yeah, I like that he's getting standing ovations basically everywhere he goes. Oh, Doncic. Whew, Mavericks up big into the third in that one. Hello. First Pelicans home game since Davis trade request. Also, apparently they took him out of the video intro.
How does that work?
I don't know. We're going to talk about it.
Are you saying he's not going to play again?
I'm not
sure. You got to get a deal done in a week so you don't.
Do they take people out if they're not
keeping him out of
playing?
the video?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. There's a lot of. I'm trying to do some benefit of the doubt.
In the air.
But I also like people that are petty, so either way it works for me. Nuggets up one.
He's in the air.
Hornets Celtics. Yes. Without Kyrie tonight, first quarter tie game, Jason Tatum.
Oh.
Okay. Second quarter, Boston up 5. Jaylen Brown, do your thing. Ooh. Big lead for the Celtics here in the fourth. Bulls Heat.
I need marketing.
We need marketing numbers.
I need marketing.
This is literally because you're here, Wilbon. Just so you know, Portis. Second quarter, Heat down 1.
Oh,
I need that. I need that white side. Keep it going. 10 points. End of the third there. 10-point lead for Damian Lillard. What is going on here? He's holding
those
a Dame
roller
5
skates?
sneaker.
Roller skates.
They're going to be released on Friday with wheels, so you can roller skate in them. That's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Lillard's with roller
I'm giving him a standing ovation. You just can't see it. It's Going Places, brought to you by Toyota. Paul, I believe you want to talk a little Wizards ball movement?
Yeah, you got to like the way they make the extra passes. Without their primary guard, John Wall, an assist leader in the league, they do a good job at attacking the paint, making the extra passes. As you can see, Bradley Beal going baseline. And this is how they create offense now. You know, you got a number of guys. They got like 7 guys with at least 1 assist right now. And this is how they got to play rest of the year if they want a chance at making the playoffs.
Speaking of making the playoffs, well, Paul, can they sustain that? I mean, it's easy, not easy, but it's easier to do for 20, 25 games. Can they go the rest of the way?
I think so. It is the Eastern Conference we're talking about. You're going to have 2 teams probably under 500 make the playoffs.
So look at this. They're chasing the 8th spot, and they're not getting John Wall back. They're going to have to continue to play the way that Paul was talking about. Jeff Green is a big beneficiary here.
Having a night.
16 points in the first half and 17 minutes off the bench. They've been getting that kind of play from him, and Satoransky can do a lot of different things, as Jeff has been talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, they have the Pistons in front of them.
By the way, I love how your answer is, it's the Eastern Conference.
It's the Eastern Conference. They have a shot.
Grading on the curve.
That's just the blanket statement answer for that one, by the way.
Chauncey's Pistons. Of course they can make the playoffs.
Rude. Sam Decker with a slam. Second half action coming back. Mike, Jeff, and Tom. So were those roller skate shoes for Damian Lillard? I'm so confused.
There are going to be a lot of media members that try to take credit for what I'm about to say, that Anthony Davis ends up in Los Angeles.
Anthony Davis will not sign an extension in the offseason when he's eligible to.
It's out there now, and it's public knowledge, so what we have to do is block it out and do our jobs.
He's like one of the main, like 90% of the reason why I stayed. That'll be good for the Lakers. Or whatever team that gets him.
You know, we want guys to do exactly what they want to do in this league. We have a short amount of time, so why not do what you want?
Anthony Davis was fined $50,000 by the NBA for violating the CBA for making a trade request public.
Yes, it has been a week of talking about Anthony Davis and his future and where will he end up. And I want to ask Wilbon, how did the Pelicans fail as far as trying to keep this guy in New Orleans?
Well, I mean, Paul referred to this earlier already. They failed because they're not having any kind of season. I mean, Anthony Davis understandably wants to go somewhere where he has a chance to win. He has no chance to win if he can't even get in the playoffs.
Right.
The West is difficult, I know, and I know there have been injuries. But when you look, okay, there's 47% winning percentage. But I thought, Paul, this has all changed last year. They get in the playoffs. They beat Portland. I know the Warriors series only went 5, but there were some times they were really competitive. And I know they thought, and I know Alvin Gentry thought this, they were going to take a step forward this year and look to go deeper in the playoffs. Maybe instead of finishing 6 and having to be the 3, you know, finish.
Based on what, though?
Finish it 4. These guys were all going to be together. Mirotic more comfortable in his role. Anthony Davis still getting better at whatever it is, 25 years old. And Michelle, for them to be this bad, to be this far out of the playoffs picture, I mean, Dallas may not always be ahead of them in the standings, but they've passed them in terms of the energy of the franchise, how they feel about their great young player in Doncic. And New Orleans, Anthony Davis, if they were where they were last year and on the rise, that would be more difficult. I don't think you would have heard that announcement if the Pelicans were 4th or 5th in the Western Conference right now.
We would not be talking about this. Two simple things. If you re-sign DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, wow, okay.
And you re-sign Rajon Rondo, they wouldn't be in this position right now. So I put a lot of that on upper management for not bringing those pieces back, because Rondo clearly was the engine for them in the playoffs. And you say, hey, we sweep the Blazers, you know, we lose to the Warriors, but we're going to get an upgrade back to next year in DeMarcus Cousins. So,
do you think,
like, let's build on that. And that was the mistake right there, because as a superstar player, you putting up empty stats. You watching your peers out here night in and night out go to the playoffs, having a shot at it. You're putting up PER numbers that's out of this world, Anthony Davis, and it's all going to waste.
What about the people who say, yeah, but what about Anthony Davis? As a superstar, why haven't you been able to carry this team further than you have?
You can't do it by yourself. There's only
But we
one
do
guy
see some guys
that can do that, and that's LeBron.
Right.
We've only seen one guy.
So then
do
even if those guys had stayed, at the end of the day, if what
They
he really
wouldn't be
wants to
in
do
this
is
position.
play with LeBron.
Well, let's go back to Rondo for a second. Because we saw just a year before that what he did with the Chicago Bulls team that had nothing.
If he doesn't get hurt, they beat the Celtics.
They beat the Celtics in the first round. So Rondo, I mean, Rondo's
this is Rondo's fault.
Status is so far beyond questioning. But to not sign both those guys, and I think Rondo might have been more important, particularly when you look at a guy that you need to rally. It takes some of the pressure off Anthony Davis. I mean, as the leader, we see this in Washington. Paul knows this firsthand. We're going to get to this with John Wall. So after they let Paul go, they have still not replaced his veteran presence, not just on the floor, but in the locker room.
How can they?
The New Orleans didn't do that with Rondo.
How do you replace that guy?
It's
impossible to do. So this, obviously, all of this situation with the brow has inspired us to bring back a little segment we like to call This or That.
Let me see what we got.
Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. Here they come. This or that. Here they come. This or that. 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 You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. I think you get with this. This is kind of fat. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. You could get with this, or you could get with that. I think you get with this, 'cause this is where it's at.
We're going to get into this, and we are going to take this whole thing from the Pelicans' point of view. If you were the Pelicans GM, what would you do? So first up, this Lakers package. Wilbon, you're going to start this one off. All the non-LeBron Lakers or Anthony Davis?
Well, the deal hasn't been made. It doesn't seem like it's going to get made. So clearly that's a signal. He's not answering the phone for the Lakers.
I would
answer phone calls. But, I mean, Ingram is better. He's so much better without LeBron. He's averaging 20 points a game without LeBron, but with him. And then I really like Kuzma. I mean, the jury's out on what they think of ball, but I think they would say Anthony Davis, and that's why the phone is still ringing.
Silence. Paul?
Anthony Davis.
Okay,
I got to stay with this generational talent.
Yep.
I mean, come on. You don't get players like this don't fall into your lap every day. You can find a Kuzma, you can find an Ingram, but not an Anthony Davis.
Okay, that's fair. How about, and you're going to start this one off, Anthony Davis or the Knicks duo of a recovering Porzingis and the rookie Kevin Knox?
That's one I may take a chance on. That's one, because Porzingis is a new generation big man. He doesn't need much athleticism. If he gets back healthy, which I believe he will, and then you got a promising rookie in Knox, that's a deal I could live with, trading for Anthony Davis.
Well, okay. That's big.
I could live with it, too, if you can assure me that Porzingis, and Paul's right about this particular thing. People are coming back from this injury now pretty good as pretty close to 100%.
Yes.
Where there's some other injuries that still, bother people for 2-3 more seasons. If you can guarantee me that, I might be able to live with it, but I got to see Porzingis. Has there been a video?
It's been a minute.
Video of everything in the world. There's no video lately of Porzingis running
Too many things,
on the
really.
beach. Nothing.
Running on the beach.
Something.
Wilbon, we'll talk about it in the break. Thinking ahead to the draft and a potential opportunity for your Bulls, actually. Anthony Davis or the likely #1 pick, Zion.
Okay, so.
That's a good one.
I'm really conflicted here because Anthony Davis again, Chicagoan. And by the way, I think the Bulls will be conflicted. If I can have Markkanen, Wendell Carter, and Zion Williamson. You're going to be an entire front line if I am the New Orleans Pelicans, right? And you're talking about guys on rookie contracts, so you'll be able to do some things in free agency as well. I think I might do that. But if I'm the Bulls, Paul, I don't know. The energy that Zion Williamson is going to bring whoever he's drafted by to that place, that arena, that city, I don't know if I do that if I'm the Bulls.
If I'm the Pelicans, it's bye-bye, Anthony Davis.
See?
Wow.
We'll order you your Uber, and we'll have one when you land. Because if I can get Zion Williams, Wendell Carter in marketing, I got to do it.
Whole front line.
Okay, but he thought about it. He thought this one out, which I kind of like. This would maybe break the internet. Maybe.
What's this?
Anthony Davis, and Paul, you'll start us out on this one.
Right.
Or Draymond Green and DeMarcus.
Oh, that's a good one, man. Because Draymond is, he's a good piece, and then you got DeMarcus Cousins starting to look. He looked like he gonna get back into his rhythm. But I'll take Anthony Davis on this one. Like I said, a generational talent again.
Wow, really?
I'm just going with now. Right now, Draymond is not playing like Draymond, and DeMarcus Cousins hasn't got back to that level yet. And I know what AD is bringing every night now before he had his injury.
Well, okay.
This is hard.
This one's legit.
I've gone back and forth a few times. I watched DeMarcus Cousins last week in a couple games in person in Washington. And Paul, he's still, when everybody's gone small with their lineups, right? So when he catches the ball in the post, which nobody even looks to throw it in anymore, and he seals, it's an automatic. I mean, he can shoot like 65, 68% the rest of the way because teams are small and they have no resistance for DeMarcus if he's all the way back. He's all the way back here, but he's coming. And then Draymond brings some elements they'd have to. And you know what?
That's a tough one.
Be fun.
And if Coach Gentry's still there, he was an assistant. He's been on that staff. He knows how to deal with Draymond in terms of what he wants to do on the court and the way he likes to be used. I might go Boogie and Draymond.
Okay. Wilbon taking some shots here. I kind of like it. Take some chances. And you mentioned Alvin Gentry there, and he brought this up earlier in the season. Wilbon, I'm going to start with you. Anthony Davis or Beyonce?
What are we talking about? Are we talking about singing? Are we talking about just
life?
Just life. Have in the arena every night?
Oh man.
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna avoid any trouble.
What? That's no fun.
I'm gonna avoid any trouble and just answer the safe answer. Say Anthony Davis.
Are you kidding me?
I want Beyonce for any purpose that is not basketball. Singing, entertaining, smiling, just being in the room.
This is an easy one, Beats. I'm going with the one that puts up 30+ million a year and fills the arena. Beyonce.
True, she does.
I've seen the arena with Anthony Davis on the court.
I've seen some empty seats.
And I've seen an arena with Beyonce on the court.
Right.
It's sold out.
I know what those
What are the owners trying to do right now? If you're not winning championships, it's about making money.
By the way, have you ever had the Beehive come after you? Really? I have. No, I've had. It's a tough group.
Okay.
Our NBA Friday doubleheader tips off. Yeah, no, it's at the Garden. Kyrie and the Celtics taking on the Knicks, and then Jokic and the Nuggets hosting James Harden and the Rockets. Our coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN, and of course, the app. How about tonight's Rising Star, brought to you by Mountain Dew? Domantas Sabonis, Mountain Dew Ice, has averaged just under 14 points in 13 games without Victor Oladipo.
Most improved player.
Pacers are 2-0 against the Wizards this season. We'll find out if that continues.
Or maybe sixth man of the year.
You're just feeling real awardy lately. Coming up, Portland's electric backcourt duo receives a visit from a man who knows a thing or two about legendary duos. Scottie Pippen talking about the best backcourts and how to bounce back from last year's disappointing finish.